Sajith is crowned hero of the day. 10 parties, groups rally round him. He gets Dayasiri's support after 11 years. 3 probable names as PM under Sajith. SJB leaders swindle campaign funds. Reason why Pavitra and Ratnapura support Ranil. Seeing happenings in Bangladesh, SLPP thanks Ranil. Ranil breaks up the Rajapaksa family too. Why brother duo was absent at Namal's introduction. Ginniger's claim of true patriotism. Drama behind Dhammika's bolting. A return in another form. He hadn't left the country. AKD scores while Ranil, Sajith and Namal fight against each other. Next wave of support for NPP. State intelligence reports on that. Deserters never sided with NPP.
The leader, දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම.
Sajith is crowned hero of the day. Sajith's SJB allied with more than 10 political parties and groups at an agreement signing at Sugathadasa Indoor Stadium on 8 August. They will support him at the upcoming presidential polls. Key among them are the NFC, Dayasiri faction of the SLFP, Thilanga's UPFA, Hakim's SLMC, Mano's TPA, DPF, LNF and the UPF. Leaders of these parties were present on the occasion, with Hakim, Dulles, Arjuna and retired General Mahesh Senanayake notable among them. Anyway, Risath was absent, although he has been with the SJB all the while. His decision is due at 10:00 a.m. on 14th August, so Lucky is said to be visiting him at his home on a daily basis now. Roshan Ranasinghe too was absent. With his Raja Yoga, he may well be placing his deposit to contest in a matter of days. Dayasiri allied with Sajith on the previous day, 11 years after their division. Dayasiri left the UNP in 2013 over the leadership crisis and joined the SLFP. In the meantime, his singer brother Kithsiri has thrown his weight behind AKD. He has told a YouTube channel, run by Kanchana Marasinghe from Canada, that he has a bigger responsibility than his brotherhood with Dayasiri. I represent and speak on behalf of a thing with 100% guarantee, he said. Expatriate Lankans are rallying round the NPP for a reason, but the SJB undervalues their strength, added Kithsiri. In the meantime, everybody awaits to see Patali's decision. A stern opponent of the NPP, he has been invited by both Ranil and Sajith. He has had talks with both in recent days. His URF hierarchy wants to side with Sajith, but at the grassroots level the signal is a firm no. According to SJB sources, Patali will join with Sajith on 10th August. But his close friend Shiral Lakhtilak cannot stand Sajith. On Facebook he has been saying that Sajith gets votes via Dayasiri, while Ranil does likewise via Amarawira, Nimal, Duminda and Lasantha. Namal may get 500,000 SLPP votes, but will Ranil get 2.5 million votes from 12 districts? He asks. As Sajith is getting increased support, the talk of the town was who would be his PM. Some believe it will be GL, but others favour Madhuma Bandara. For the Colombo middle class, it is Harsha. While Sajith is yet to say anything in public, Lanka C News reports that Madhuma Bandara will get that opportunity. His supporters in Monaragala already mentioned that during campaigning. Anyway, the article gives the impression of a certain victory for Sajith. Another worry for Sajith is that some of his party leaders promote themselves to gain public favour. They collect funds purportedly for Sajith's presidential race, but spend on their personal campaigns. Last Saturday, Sajith raised this at a meeting at the party headquarters. He said he will deploy a separate team to find out about those who campaign for preferential votes. He said he would treat everybody after considering their contributions for the presidential election campaign. None of those who do their job gets nominations, he warned. Critics say that if things are at such a level before the election, they will be worse if Sajith wins. Reason why Pavitra and Ratnapura support Ranil. Minister Pavitra has decided to support Ranil. In a statement, she says the decision has been taken at the request of her supporters in Ratnapura. It follows lengthy talks with supporters, intellectuals, society activists and others, says Pavitra. She has been very close to the Rajapaksa family, So does her husband Kanchana Jayaratne. Their bonds go beyond a mere relationship. That's why she took this long to make her move. Her decision was prompted by wisdom, not emotions. Many in the SLPP thank Ranil for saving them from a situation like what is happening in Bangladesh. With PM Sheikh Hasina fleeing the country, 20 of her Awami League leaders have been found murdered. There is endless targeting of party activists. This same tragedy could have struck Sri Lanka. That could well have happened to us. Rajapaksas would have fled. We would have died. SLPP activists say alike. Such was the sentiments expressed by Pavitra too, to her inner circle before making her announcement. But Rajapaksa family spokesman Udayanga says something different. He accuses Ranil of dividing the family in the same manner he divided their party. Basil and Namal are in one camp, while Yoshitha and Rohitha side with Ranil today. He told the truth with Chamuditha YouTube channel. What he says is something presently discussed in political circles. Both the brothers and even his mother, Shiranthi, were absent at Namal's introduction as the SLPP presidential candidate. Basil and Nipuna attended, but not Chamal and his son Shashindra, who were against fielding own party candidate. Rohitha even has a role to play in Ranil's election campaign. Namal's cronies say something different. Had all the Rajapaksas been present, Lanzas had a plan to claim it to be a family affair and throw mud at it. Anyway, critics describe Namal's decision as very political. Dr. Mahesh Hapugoda said on Facebook that this is the time for true followers of the SLPP to shoulder the responsibility for the future's sake, throwing their weight behind it, contributing some funds, even if there will be no personal gains for them. In the meantime, Namal's advisor Iranda Janij tells the enemy camp that it may have power and wealth, but there is something lacking: true patriotism of the indigenous camp. He tells them that they fought for power, while Namal supporters fought for the country. But all the other candidates are dead silent over Namal's entry to their ilk. Drama behind Dhammika's bolting, a return in another form. It is said that Dhammika is back to normal. He had not left the country and switched on his mobile phone just yesterday morning. Now calls are raining on him. He telephoned a minister and told him that he could not think about elections when his mother was sick. She was against my contesting. Later, she consented, but some frightened her in the past few days. She got a sudden stroke. I became emotional. Now things are back to normal, he said. When asked if Namal and Basil were disappointed, Dhammika said Namal had been on standby anyway. Everybody knows that, he said. It is true that his mother got a stroke and was hospitalized. She underwent an MRI too and is in intensive care. He spends most of the time with her. On the 11th, Dhammika will have another certificate distribution of his DP Education campus at Homagama. Plans are to hold it big, with 12,000 students and their parents present. Anyway, his reversal worried many in the government. Hundreds of thousands of posters against him had already been printed. The plan was to do the campaign that night. That was revealed by a government MP to Namal at the latter's introduction as the presidential candidate. It seems that Dhammika is to make a comeback to politics in a different form. AKD scores while Ranil, Sajith and Namal fight against each other. Critics say AKD is likely to gain while Ranil, Sajith and Namal keep on fighting against each other. That came up at a political workshop at Water's Edge at Bataramula recently. Some politicians listened open-mouthed as an expert gave them an in-depth explanation. AKD now has more than 50% of support in social media. He handles the media according to a plan. A new wave of support is getting created. Don't take it lightly, was his advice. He lectured them for around 6 hours. But most of the participants didn't take it seriously. A minister told him that from next week they will give it a real game. The expert then made his exit. But even state intelligence says the NPP could have a considerable impact. Social media posts show some take it seriously with what is happening in Bangladesh. That's why even the die-hard SLPP supporters are now supporting Ranil. The NPP has been having increasing approval since the beginning. Deserters never sided with it. Any calculations in disregard to that are most likely to prove wrong. The best player wins the 2024 game. That's it for today.
The Leader. දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම.